You ever wonder what happens when the lines between prison staff and inmates start to blur? It's a situation that can lead to some serious consequences, both for the staff and the inmate.
Ready.
When we think of prisons, we often imagine a strict hierarchy environment where correctional officers maintain a strict distance from the inmate. And for a good reason. The safety and rehabilitation of prisoners depend heavily on this dynamic. But what happens when that line gets crossed and staff members start to form a close relationship with these inmates? Now, the relationship between prison staff and inmates is crucial, and it can have a significant impact on both the prison safety and the inmate rehabilitation. Now, on one hand, a positive and respectful relationship can help to de-escalate conflict and promote a more constructive environment. On the other hand, a too close relationship can blur the lines of authority and create security risk. Now, let's look at extreme cases. Close relationships between staff and inmates can even facilitate illegal activities such as drug trafficking and organized crime. This is why it's essential to maintain professional boundaries within the prison environment. But how do we ensure that these boundaries are respected, especially when staff members are working in close proximities to the inmate for extended period of time, day in and day out? Now, if you like the content I'm bringing to you, don't forget to do the most important thing here, to smash that subscribe button and join the channel so you can get more content like this. Now, the challenges that arises when prison staff develop inappropriate relationships with inmates are multifaceted. Not only do these relationships create security risks, but they also raise ethical dilemmas. For instance, what happens when a staff member becomes emotionally attached to an inmate, or starts to ignore or bend the rules to benefit that individual? Now, in such cases, the consequences can be severe. Inmates may start to exploit the relationship for personal gain, while staff members may compromise their professionalism and integrity. Moreover, these relationships can also create tension among other inmates who may feel that they're being unfairly treated. Now, in some cases, staff members may even engage in romantic relationships with these inmates, which can lead to serious legal and ethical issues. These relationships can create a power imbalance, with the staff member holding significant influences over the inmates' daily lives. Now, in addition to these challenges, close relationships between staff and inmates can also compromise the effectiveness of the rehabilitation programs. When staff members become too close to these inmates, they start to take more lenient approaches, which can hinder the rehabilitation process. Furthermore, the relationships can also impact the mental health of both the staff member and the inmate. Now, staff members may also experience feelings of guilt and anxiety when they're forced to discipline or punish the inmate for whom they're having a close relationship with. Now, meanwhile, these inmates may become emotional dependent on the staff member, which can hinder the ability to develop a healthy relationship with others. Now, in extreme cases, these relationships can even lead to suicide or self-harm among the inmates. Now, over the years, there have been several high-profile cases where staff-inmate relationships have gone horribly wrong. In one notable case, a female correctional officer was caught smuggling drugs into the prison system for the inmate whom she was romantically in love with. That's crazy. Why? Now, in another case, a male correctional officer was convicted of raping an inmate who was under his supervision. These cases highlight the devastating consequences of crossing the line. Yes, crossing the line. You're on the other damn side of the line. Get on the other side of the street. Don't do it. Between professional relationships and personal ones. One particular dramatic case, the dangers of close relationship, is that of correctional officers who are convicted of helping an inmate escape from prison. The officer who was deeply in love with the inmate, had been smuggling contraband into the prison for months and eventually helped the inmate escape by providing fake IDs and a gun. Why would you do that? That's crazy. The consequences of these escapes were severe. The inmate went on to commit serious violent crimes, including murder, before he was eventually recaptured. Meanwhile, the correctional officer was sentenced to several years in prison for her role of the escape. They should have charged her for that murder also, because if she didn't help him, the murder would never happen. These emotional and psychological impacts of this case was devastating for all parties involved. The correctional officer was left to grapple with the guilt of her actions, while the inmate was forced to confront the consequences of his crime. Hell yeah. These cases highlight the dangers of close relationships between the prison staff and the inmates. When these relationships go wrong, they could have far-reaching consequences for both the inmate party as well as the prison system as a whole. So what can we take from this discussion? Firstly, it's essential to maintain professional boundaries. Don't cross the damn street. This means that staff members must be trained to recognize the signs of inappropriate relationships and to take steps to prevent them from developing. We're all grown adults. We know what we're doing. Secondly, prison administration must take a zero-tolerance approach to staff-involved relationships. It must be willing to take disciplinary action. When these relationships are discovered, you can't just let them go under the rugs. You got to take care of them. By taking these steps, we can create a safer and more rehabilitative environment for these inmates and a safer environment for these officers. Now, finally, it's essential that we raise awareness about the dangers of close relationships between prison staff and the inmates by sharing stories like this one. We can encourage prison administrators and policymakers to take action. The state attorney needs to pick up these damn charges. Like always, thank you for watching Beyond the Badge, Inside the Bars. And don't forget to share your thoughts and comments below. If you're interested in watching more videos about prison and criminal justice, we have some great recommendations for you. Just subscribe to the channel and you stay updated. Thank you.